it's Ashley from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and welcome back to my channel where I make a lot of cake and cookie decorating tutorials as well as give a lot of baking business tips. What did we get sent today?
A cookie box.
A cookie box, but it's a really cool cookie mix. So we're gonna see if this is better than homemade or at least as good as homemade. Now this cookie company just reached out to me and asked me to give it a try, and what was really cool is they really wanted a super honest review. So let's open it up and see what's inside. Okay, let's see what's there. You got it?
That's so big and huge.
Go ahead and open it. Wow, let's look at all the different mixes that they sent us.
Chocolate chip, cinnamon, sugar, unicorn rainbow sprinkles. I love these. I ate one of these. Salty peanut butter. I love peanut butter.
Which one should we give a try? Which one do you want to make? So we can either make the unicorn rainbow sprinkle, the salted peanut butter, the cinnamon sugar, or the chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip.
You want to make the chocolate chip?
Because I love it.
Okay, let's give it a try and see if this stacks up to my chocolate chip cookies. So I'm probably going to review these other flavors by doing some short video content, so be sure to watch out for those. My son just randomly chose this chocolate chip cookie mix, but I think it's a good one to choose because I think most of you out there like a good chocolate chip cookie. So I can't wait to see the results for this particular mix. So we need 1 stick or a ½ cup of butter softened, 1 large
Sock.
an egg, 1 large egg, and then we need,
Apple.
what's this?
Toilet.
It's a mixer, a stand mixer. So I did follow almost all of the instructions to a T, starting with this one right here. So it did say if we have the option to use convection that we should use it. So we set that to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And the rest was very straightforward. We're basically going to add the butter to this and the eggs. Now you might be wondering, why would a baker use a mix? Well, for the most part, I don't actually use mixes. However, I do find quick things like this incredibly useful if you're making something like an over-the-top cake. Maybe it's a cookie themed cake and you don't just want to go out and buy the store-bought cookies. You want something a little bit more fresh, but you don't want to go through all that work of making it completely from scratch. Something like this is a great option. And in order to really put the ease of this cookie mix to the test, I had my son do this. He's only 3 years old, as you saw from the title, and actually it was relatively easy for him to do. And I was super happy that when we turned on the mixer, that mixture did not fly everywhere. The butter really did help keep it in place, and it might seem at first like it's a little bit dry, but you just gotta keep mixing until you get a relatively wet dough. It's not going to be super wet, but it's going to come together like any other cookie dough would. Now, the recipe didn't specifically say to use one of these, but anytime I'm making cookies, I like to use a nonstick mat. Landon, when you're making cookies, and especially when you don't know the recipe, you don't want to put the cookies too close together. Do you know why?
What?
Because then they might bake all too close together, and then you're going to end up with a giant misshapen cookie. So, instead, we want to make sure that we put them apart, very far apart. So the recipe says a ½ inch apart. But we're gonna go even further apart. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Just as a test.
You do it.
Me, okay, I'll do it. So it's always a good rule of thumb to make sure that the cookies are nice and spread out the very first time that you make any recipe. Now, what I absolutely loved about this particular mix was that I did not have to put the dough in the fridge or in the freezer. The ratios are perfect, so you're able to just scoop these out and put them onto the sheets. Now, the instructions said to make them a little bit smaller, but I just kind of went with the cookie scoop that I had, and then I also split this in half later on to see if it would actually make a difference to the cookie. I followed the baking directions almost exactly, and I ended up with these cookies. Now, they look a little bit puffy, but then after you let them set for a bit, they do thin out, just like the picture. I love it when products look like the picture. Now, I was actually expecting these to be a little bit crispy, I guess because they were so thin, but they turned out to be nice and chewy in the center and then have a crisp outside, which is actually something that I prefer. I think if I had baked them a little bit longer, they'd probably be that crisp cookie through and through, so it really is up to you. My husband said they were quite good. They didn't quite have the caramelized flavor of my original chocolate chip cookies that I like to make, but I think for a mix, they really do the job and they give you that feel like it's homemade. This was a solid cookie mix, and I really think if you just follow the directions, they're going to turn out for you. But I want to do a few more test runs on the other cookie mixes that I received before I give my final review of this particular cookie mix company. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading weekly, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye! And then we might need a
Head.